Hello everyone, let's see who's Gregor Mendel. So Gregor Mendel was born in 1822 and died in 1884. He was a monk who lived in a monastery in Brno, in what is now the Czech Republic. So Mendel back then was living in a monastery in Brno, known now as the Czech Republic. This monastery helped Mendel to study sciences in the University of Vienna during 1858. Afterwards, he returned to this monastery to continue studying biology and physics. He became interested in inheritance, and his first attempts at controlled breeding experiments were with mice. So he was interested in genetics. He wanted to work on mice to study how the characteristics are inherited from parents to offsprings. However, this was not well received in the monastery, and he was advised to use pea plants instead. So he wasn't allowed to work on mice in the monastery. So they advised him to use pea plants instead, for him to observe how the features are inherited from parents to offsprings. The pea plants experiment allowed Mendel to discover the fundamental laws of inheritance. And back then, he was called the father of modern genetics. As a result of the experiments with pea plants, he was able to formulate the basic laws of inheritance. Mendel established that for each feature he studied, so for each feature of the pea plant, he realized that a heritable unit, which is called a gene, is passed from one generation to the next. When he was first working on pea plants, he did not know that the heritable unit is a gene. It was discovered after the discovery of the DNA. Mendel also learned that the heritable unit can have alternate forms. So it can have two different forms or features, and that each individual must have two alternate forms, which are called the alleles, per feature. So each feature must have two alleles. Also, he discovered that the sex cells only have one of the alternate forms, the allele per feature. So the sex cells only have one allele per feature and not two, like the other somatic cells. And he found that one allele can be dominant over the other in cells. So one feature is dominant and the other is recessive. So each individual has two alleles. One is dominant and the other is recessive. Mendel published his results and ideas in 1865, but very few people took any notice, since at that time, biologists had little knowledge of chromosomes and cell division. So his ideas went unnoticed. Biologists didn't have the basic information for them to realize Mendel's work. So Mendel's ideas had no physical basis. However, it was not until the 1900s that other biologists working on inheritance rediscovered Mendel's work and recognized its importance. In the 1903, the connection between Mendel's suggested behavior of genes and behavior of chromosomes in meiosis was noticed. The science of genetic was well and truly born then.